was some of these games that y'all have been out of, the teams have shot the best they have from boundary. What is there a common thread between some of those?
Yeah, statistically, for sure, that's correct. They shot better from 3 than they have all year. Shot better from 2 than they have all year. Shot better from the free throw line than they have all year. They shot more free throws than they have all year. I understand where you're fouling towards the end. Going into the game, they were shooting 57 shots. 21 were from 3. Our defense forces you to shoot more threes than the average, so to say. I think they made 7 threes in the first half. In the second half, they only made 4. That's probably about right. And 2 of those 4 came after we gambled and took ourselves out of the play. We did not contest in a way to make the shooter miss enough. We were there for the contest, but it wasn't, you have to miss this shot. They improved, but we were playing from behind in that regard. And when you give a team that level of confidence that early, there has to be something that reverses it. And I think that we were offensive sensitive, wanting us to make threes while they were making threes. Our offense is best numerically. It wasn't bad tonight. But our offense is best when our defense fuels it. And tonight, defensively, statistically, was the worst that we've played. Obviously, them making the threes is what contributes to that. But taking the ball out of the net over and over and over is not going to fuel your offense. And then if your mentality is too offensive sensitive, waiting on something good to happen offensively, it just begins to compound. And I think that there were segments tonight where we were better. We've had a lot of growth over the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago today was following the bad loss to Colorado, and I think that we've made some steps. They are very good. They won the Mountain West. They won the Mountain West Conference tournament. They're very good. They don't beat themselves. They play with great poise. And we are better. I love our players. I love our coaches. But we didn't do enough to beat a Quad 1 team. And we have more opportunities. And so over the next 2 weeks, the only thing I know, Travis, is we have to have more. Because this was better, but it wasn't enough.
Dexter, kind of along the same lines, I know something I've asked Coach about. Is there a fine line, especially defensively, between being too aggressive and being aggressive enough to kind of force those turnovers and not get yourself out of position and kind of, is there a fine line there?
I'd definitely say yes. I think what we do defensively is I'm going to say unique. And I think if we don't have the effort and everybody's like really locked in, it doesn't work. You can't really half step or fake what we do defensively. And when you do it, it shows up.
Do you feel like that was kind of the case tonight?
Yeah, I kind of feel like we let our offense dictate our defense tonight. Same thing back in Myrtle Beach. I say we just, when we're not hitting shots, we're just trying to hit a 3 when they hit a 3, and we're just not guarding or not rotating like we normally do.
Well, I was wondering if, how you felt at halftime, because they had a lead and everything, but it seemed like they were shooting at a pace that they weren't likely to continue.
Yeah, and they didn't shoot that well from 3 in the second half. I think that how we started affected the rest of the half. And then at half time, everybody's saying what they know and what they should say. And it was better, but it wasn't enough. And so I think the thing that I have to continue to try to figure out is How when someone stuns us, can we respond quicker? Can we respond more efficiently? Can we respond more effectively? We can't give away possessions thinking about the previous possession. And that's on me, and so I've got to figure out how to do better. We forced 15 turnovers for a team that is not necessarily fast, but that ball was moving too fast, and we were too slow reacting while that ball was in the air. And so we're a second and a half late instead of being there on the catch. We were a second late on a drive to stop the drive. And then if we were on time to stop the drive and it was pitched to the weak side, we were watching the ball instead of we were already on our way to the ball. And now we're a second and a half late to that. And I think that there's a theme of a burden. Wonder why I didn't do that right, and then it affects the next thing. And I've got to help us respond in that moment that you have to respond better.
Buzz, this might be too big picture for this moment, but y'all played good 3 times, the Texas game, the TCU game, this game.
I know.
Does it seem like every time you leave this place, it feels like it's, I don't know if it's a fork in the road or a turnaround or a turning point in the season? Is there something kind of with this place?
It was a little in my spirit. I never said it to anybody. I think we lost by 9 in year 1 against Shaka. Yeah, we played here in year 1. We played here during COVID. We didn't play here last year. We played Texas year 1. We played TCU year 2. And obviously we just played Boise.
I think last March, I don't say, I was here with a different team and it didn't really end that well either.
But that not sadistically, is that a word? We need this. We need this to learn how to respond. And to act as though it didn't happen is foolish.
Yeah.
And over the next 2 weeks, we play 2 games. And so we have to, throughout practice, continue to be transparent, and we are, but we have to respond. We can't just wait till, well, when we play again, I hope it works. 2 weeks from today, we're going to play a team that's just as good numerically. They just play differently. And nothing against the fans that supported us today, because we're appreciative. There were more fans cheering for us today than will be 2 weeks from today. And it'll be a completely different environment. And you could argue it'll be the best environment that we've played in. So, and that is just a precursor to what's going to be happening a month later. Or we were better in many respects than we were the last time that we got hit. But this time when we got hit, we didn't hit back at the rate that you have to hit back with. And so how can we figure that out? How do you impact the game when shots are not falling? How do you help us win that possession? Hey, we missed on that end. Okay, so in order not to lose that down back, we have to get a stop, which means we have to finish with a rebound. They make 7 threes in the first half, and they had how many offensive rebounds did they have in the first half? I don't have the thing.
First half, 4.
And they're not the ones that are right there at the rim. They're the ones that they miss the 3, and there the ball goes, and you're like, it's a 50-50 ball. Yeah, we got to have it. And it's not as if we're just saying you have to have it. We tactically teach who's supposed to have it. on the rise of the shot. We all have responsibility. They all know what the responsibility is. But in that moment in time, we have to do it. We have to do it.
But I don't want to sound like, I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses for you, really, if you are, but I wonder this, Dexter said something about the defense being unusual. You've got a guy from Michigan State, you've got a guy from Wichita State, you've got freshmen. You're only 8 games into the season. I mean, how much time do you think it takes?
Well, I think he's Defensive Player of the Year 2 times and should have been 3 times in his career at Wichita. I think he completely understands it. I think Julius has improved dramatically defensively, and he for sure understands it now. He's a little faster reacting than he was when it was all brand new. I think we've had great growth in everybody understanding it. I think Solo will end up being a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in his career in the SEC because he can guard anybody. We played EP today. He is making really, really good progress. Andy knows what we're doing. He doesn't always do it. A lot of times he's trying to help our team, but he takes himself out of the play too much. We spend an inordinate amount of time in our practice itinerary on what we do defensively, with it being predicated on if we're really good defensively, it will help us offensively. Like, regardless of opponent, if you look at our defensive numbers over the last 1, 2, 3 games, they have been as good as they've been since we've been here. And it has really fueled our offense. And so today they made 26 baskets. No, I said that wrong. Yeah, they made 23 baskets. So 23 times we're taking the ball out of the net. And that's because they played at too high of a rate.
I'm not gonna say like unusual. I say like unique. It's forcing something. Yeah, this is designed to get the shots that we want the offense to take. That's what I mean. And when like we're not hooked up, we're not flying around, then it does really work.
25 out of their 44 shots were from 3. That's the uniqueness of what we're.
But we want to contest those threes and make them miss.
Yeah.
Like where I come from, it was just you guard your yard, you get beat, and the big help up, and that's it. I'm saying it's a scheme with it. You get what I mean?
But offensively, 14 of 29 on layup attempts. Did you like the shooting, or what did you kind of see on that?
We got to the rim 54% of the time, which is elite. And we shot 50%, which is average. In the last 3 games, we haven't got to the paint or to the rim that high. And we've been scoring over 60%. And that has been a priority in practice every day on our rim decisions and our rim finishes, not just for the bigs, but for the guards. And that was 1.08 offense, which is good, with a poor rim shot percentage. Defensively, 1.29, which is disaster.
Do you feel like their size on the interior contributed to some of that challenges that you faced?
I think 2 is a really hard guard. I think 2, how they utilize him. Is he guarded by your 4? Is he guarded by your 5? He averaged 12 shots per game entering today. 5 of those 12 were from 3. He's just a hard guard. And in many respects, I thought we did really good on him. 25 is a rim roller that's very comfortable in what they do. They play a little different, in my opinion, not the plays, but 25's always going to rim run. 2 is going to pop half the time versus roll. 23, who's going to guard him? 7 out of his 46 shots entering today had been from 3. Today, 3 out of his 7 were. I think Coach's son is not the best prospect. but he's hard to take off the floor because he's always, when you're in rotation, because of how they create it, there's one to the weak side and the next one's going to 12. And 10 controls the game off the bounce. 10 controls the game off the pass. He gets fouled at a higher rate than anybody on their team. And tonight he shot 12 free throws. Some of that was what we did. Probably 3 or 4 of those were what we did at the end. I've known Coach for a long time. I've known Burnsy since I was a kid. I've known Sweet D since I was literally in college. I think they play in a way that when you watch it, you're like, well, that's pretty simple. But in truth, it's very simple with a lot of complexities to it because of how they utilize their roster. 10's not coming out. 12's not coming out. 2's not coming out. And 11, if you look at 11's 55% of his shots have been from 3, and he's shooting 42%. So all of your attention goes to 10. All of your attention goes to 2. And then, well, who's guarding 11 on that uncontested 3? Who's guarding 12 on that one more? I didn't go watch them in Myrtle because we were having problems of our own. But I've really enjoyed studying them and have great respect for who those coaches are as people, but also as professionals.